Leadership is like gardening. First, you have a choice. You always have a choice. You could stare in wonder and amazement at everyone else's beautiful gardens, the leaders who inspire you. Or you could choose to commit to understanding your own space, the nutrients, resources, and structure that is needed for your own garden to thrive, be resilient, and shine in all its natural beauty. Self-leadership is much like gardening, my friends. Roughly 2 years ago, a few months into the pandemic, I was struggling with an intense and deeply personal family issue. I found refuge, peace, and community in the dirt, tending to my gardens. When I came face to face with what was in my space, the weeds, the invasives, the damaging pests, my self-doubt, my wounds, my unhealthy behaviors, I realized many of the stories I told myself no longer served me. I chose to focus my energy. I asked myself, what or who needed to stay? What needed a little extra glyphosate? And what old parts needed to be integrated to move me forward? And importantly, what tools would help me along the way? When planning a garden from existing plant material, it is essential to understand what needs to stay, what needs to be excavated, and what could be used to infuse the garden space with life and resilience. We need different types of plants, representing the strengths and talents of a diverse team. In Michigan, this might look like the trusty, resilient plants, lungwort and astilbe, the executors. The glue, who advocate, gather, and connect with others, purple coneflower and salvia. The relationship builders. The showy marketers, cardinal flower and lily, the influencers. And the dreamers and idea generators, black-eyed Susan and prairie coreopsis, the strategic thinkers. Each plant needs slightly different care, fertilizer, pruning, or sun requirements. Growth will vary, blooms will surprise us, and keep us curious. Sound familiar? People can surprise us too, if we're open to it. Some plants prefer full sun. In the heat is where they thrive and grow. Others grow strong in the shade, behind the scenes. There will be support along the way. A chance acquaintance who knows all about invasive species, who responds to each image you send her with, "Get rid of it," or "Keep it." But in my case, it was mostly "Get rid of it." Thank you, Amber. Your passion inspires me and encourages me to think twice before I purchase a plant. Or the neighbor, who could use a friend just as much as you could, who also happens to be a master gardener with 50 years of garden knowledge and experience. But more importantly, she loves to get her hands in the dirt, like you. And you're both comfortable with silence. Thank you, Joyce. I'll forever be grateful for your friendship and the timing of the universe. You were sent my way to remind me how therapeutic and healing playing in the dirt can be. There will be moments when the plans come together, when the sore back and throbbing knees feel worth it, when you see the bees sticking their head into the flowers, swarming with glee in the habitat you created, or the butterflies and birds visiting the refuge and buffet you cultivated. And each component of the environment is dependent on the other in a beautiful display of reciprocity. And our learning and unlearning continues. Our curiosity is repeatedly cultivated in the garden of leadership, where we grow and inspire, where we lift others simply by meeting them where they are, where we provide the tools and resources they need to bloom and shine. If I were to be discouraged by every non-believer, every person not able to support my vision, or if I were to be consumed by comparing my garden to others' gardens, where would I be? There is no end in gardening. The same is so for leadership. We commit to the initial work. We unlearn, relearn, create beautiful spaces, new patterns. We help people stop and smell the lilacs, the peonies, or the lavender. We roll through the seasons with both predictability and surprise. Rest when we can in the quiet of winter, because no plant blooms constantly. Gear up for spring with extra nutrients and a surge of energy, and when summer arrives, we're ready to play and maintain until autumn cycles back again and we enjoy the colors while we prepare for the cold months ahead. The cyclical seasons of leadership, of life, is the real normalcy we crave, and it has been here all along. Self-leadership is so much like gardening. It is at the heart of all natural processes, rhythms, and seasons. My gratitude is with author Robin Wall Kimmerer. Her words in Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants were spoken to me in my ears as I tended to the soil and wrote this article. Robin wisely shares with us what the overstory of colonialism tried to suppress is surging. It is the prophesied time of the seventh fire, a sacred time when the collective, remembering, transforms the world, a dark time and a time filled with light. We remembered the oft-used words of resistance. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. To everyone who is touched by this writing, we are all leaders of ourselves, and the healing begins right where you are, in your garden within. We can tenderly begin to remember we are seeds, after all. To love a place is not enough. We must find ways to heal it. Robin Wall Kimmerer.